Is this the Fight Club of cosmic horror?
What's that thing? Behind me.
Your shadow saw something full of danger, mystery.
Hello and welcome to The Underhold. My name is Sinclair. I use the handle Illegal Priest in a lot of social media, and this is going to be my spoiler-free critique of Daniel Isn't Real. And I hope to convey not just my thoughts on it, but whether you might enjoy it despite my opinion. Daniel Isn't Real is one of the newer exclusive movies on Shudder, and it's about a guy named Luke who's had a bit of a troubled childhood. Luke's dad left his family early on, so he was left just to be raised by his schizophrenic mother, which on a personal note is not unlike myself actually. And Luke has a particularly traumatizing event while he's still a young boy. And this seems to trigger the creation of his imaginary friend Daniel. And we come back to Luke again later in life when he's in college. And there he's having trouble coping with the world around him, leading him to summon his imaginary friend Daniel once again. But at what cost? Now, the imaginary friend trope has been in a lot of TV and film before. We have the classic Drop Dead Fred, which uses that vehicle for a black comedy. Fight Club uses it as one of its central twists. There was also the FX sitcom Wilfred with Elijah Wood, who's also a producer on this film. And Wilfred was more of a dark character study sitcom. And I have a lot of fun personal memories of the old movie Cloak and Dagger with Dabney Coleman. And that was just a fun kids' children's fantasy. And a couple more to just round it out would be The Shining and Donnie Darko. And more recently, Jojo Rabbit has some fun with this too. Some of what I enjoy in Daniel Isn't Real is that I feel like it's a unique take on this idea. This movie has a little bit of fun with the fact that there's been all that previous media before. Just those things existing kind of heightens a little bit of what's going on in this movie. It doesn't constantly throw that at you or anything, but if you have the schema of those things, it definitely enhances it. Not necessary though. So for instance, this movie's not being subtle with the title. I mean, it's just straight up Daniel Isn't Real. It also very explicitly spells out the schizophrenia Luke's mom has, and that schizophrenia can take hold at the age that Luke is when he's in college. And there is a hereditary link with schizophrenia, so that's always in the background. So being forward, all this stuff gets kind of the movie trope part of your mind going of like, what effed up way is this real? It just kind of pushes your brain that way, just immediately. On top of that, they create situations where the best explanation is that Daniel is real. And if he isn't real, it feels like a situation of proving that would almost be too convoluted. It wouldn't, unless, there's not many things that can be that clever. It puts itself into a corner that to explain it, it would just feel really convoluted for him to not be real. But with so many things that have this imaginary friend concept being in the back of your mind, you're always like, could there be that super clever twist? Just the fact that it's back there really actually heightens everything, I think. That little nugget that it plants in there, I think, does heighten the horror in more than one scene in the film, particularly with a hypnosis scene. If you see this for one scene, the hypnosis scene is it. It was pretty rad. The lead actor and character works. It's Miles Robbins. He plays Luke, and he plays him pretty straight. He gives out those Skeet Ulrich, Johnny Depp vibes. But Patrick Swarzenegger? Yeah. The son of Arnold? No, not that son. The other son. Yeah, that one. Patrick, as Daniel, steals the show straight up. But they do both have a good chemistry together. Now, while Robbins as Luke plays his more straight and muted, Patrick as Daniel goes the other direction. He hams it up. And he says he took inspiration from Nicolas Cage's work. And it stays in the inspiration category. It doesn't feel like an imitation. I would say as Daniel's more like a Patrick Bateman with less self-doubt. Almost like the comedian Anthony Jeselnik, for those of you out there who know who he is. That's definitely his vibe. There's some clever autonomy to the Daniel imaginary character that I loved when Daniel and Luke started to clash a bit. Moments where, let's say, Daniel's outside of Luke's view. And to step back just a little moment, there's a cool moment with Miles Robbins as Luke that does actually invoke literal Nicolas Cage, like a lot of the Castor Troy character in Face Off, which I loved. And I just found that interesting because it was Patrick Swarzenegger who specifically mentioned Nicolas Cage, not Miles Robbins, but I'm sure they had some conversations and that probably bled in there. The aesthetics are cool, like the cinematography and color. It has the deep color Dario Argento giallo film look, but with just a hint of vaporwave, just for good measure. The set design is very detailed. There's like Luke's mom's house is very cluttered, and you just see hints of the paranoia and schizophrenia everywhere that I thought was very well done. Or an artist's loft that looks pretty believable as an artist's loft. The score resonated with me. I did watch other reviews on this and stuff before doing a video. I saw that didn't work for some people, and they're saying it was too much. The score is unique. It is partially electronic and partially orchestra, so it worked for me. It can be a little alien, but I absolutely loved it, like right off the bat. And there's a Lovecraftian cosmic horror theme to how the story unravels, and the themes of sanity, even parts of imagery and lore, so there's a bit of that in there. It also ventures into the space of dream logic, which can be hard to do. When you start using dream logic in a film, you kind of have to earn that, I guess, with the viewer. The stakes always felt real, and that's what I did like about their use of dream logic. Now, there is stuff I'm not so hot on. I thought the beginning was way too rushed. The parts where he was a kid. I felt like they left a lot on the cutting room floor because they were trying to rush to get to the part where Luke's going to college. They throw a lot at you, and some of it's pretty quick to miss, which is unfortunate because some of that stuff does pay off later in the film. Particularly with a gag having to do with a parachute. I didn't even quite understand at first. I had to go back, and it was totally something having to do with the beginning. So if I had advice when watching it, pay attention to that beginning. Some things can be quick to miss. The parts that don't look like a super high budget movie though are a couple of the effects scenes. It uses a mix of CGI and practical effects. In some parts it is very effective. I do like the mixture in general, and there is some good imagery there. But that is the part where you can see like, okay, this is some of the parts where they didn't have enough money to really achieve what they wanted to completely. But there is some cool stuff in there. So, a great Patrick Swarzenegger performance, some horror invoking Argento and Lovecraft, a very unique film score, and just some intense moments have me recommend this film as a complete horror show. Absolutely watch it. So this is a Shudder exclusive. If you don't have Shudder, they're doing this 30-day shut-in promo code trial. There's enough stuff to get a good amount of use out of 30 days. Think about giving us a thumbs up if you made it this far. We don't have the largest watch time, so it definitely helps. Also, check out our Color Out of Space kind of review discussion if you like this kind of film as well. And finally, don't let spoilers run your life. Peace.